Writing a sequel presents unique challenges and opportunities. It's not about continuing the story. It's about creating something fresh and true to what audiences loved about the original, while offering new depth and excitement. These may not be the best sequels of all time, but they are my favourite. So let's dive in. And as always, I will mash to demonstrate what I mean. So here are a few craft elements to consider when writing a sequel. Side note, if you're not writing a sequel, just pretend that you're writing a sequel to an idea that you have. You never know, you might come up with an idea that's so juicy it needs to go in your original. I do this all the time. It's so fun. Anyway, here are some craft elements to consider when writing a sequel. When writing a sequel, it's crucial to show how characters have evolved on their experiences from the original movie, but still stay true to their characters' core traits. Consider the emotional and psychological arcs of the characters. Where were they at the end of the first movie? And how can their experiences drive their behaviour and decisions in the sequel? This balance between continuity and growth is essential for making the sequel feel fresh and familiar. Let's look at Shrek 2 for an example.
You can do this.
But I really
don't
want to
be
In the first Shrek, we meet a grumpy, isolated ogre who, over the course of the movie, learns to appreciate friendship and love, particularly through his relationship with Fiona.
I love you.
Really?
Really.
By Shrek 2, Shrek has married Fiona and has started a new life, but he's still grappling with insecurities, especially about how Fiona's royal family will perceive him. His arc in the sequel is about reconciling his own self-image with his love for Fiona. We see a more vulnerable Shrek who, despite having grown emotionally, still faces challenges with self-acceptance. This deepens his character and makes the story more compelling, don't you think?
But I love Fiona more.
Fiona's growth is equally important. In the first movie, she learns to accept herself, her appearance, and her true desires. In Shrek 2, Fiona is adjusting to life reunited with her family, but there's a conflict within her. She loves Shrek, but now that she's actively part of the royal family, she has to balance her love for him with the pressures of parental expectations.
Shrek!
Fiona!
Mom! Harold!
Donkey!
This shift from self-acceptance to negotiating between two worlds shows how Fiona's character has grown, yet is still evolving. Even supporting characters show growth in Shrek 2. Donkey, for instance, grows in loyalty to Shrek.
What?
His character becomes a symbol of unwavering friendship.
Look at him in his wee little boots.
Then there's Puss in Boots, who transitions from a side antagonist to a beloved ally.
Pray for mercy from Puss and Donkey.
These character arcs, though smaller, add richness to the movie's emotional landscape. Hot tip: introduce new secondary characters, or even a secondary plotline that enriches the narrative. This could be a new team member or unlikely ally. These new characters need to have a purpose within the plot and thematically resonate with the primary arc. Don't just be putting them in there willy-nilly. In the first Mummy, Rick is a swashbuckling, adventurous soldier. I've always wanted to say that word, swashbuckling. By The Mummy Returns, he's a family man, now married to Evelyn and father to their son, Alex.
Kid gets more and more like you every day.
What, you mean more attractive, sweet, and devilishly charming?
No, it's driving me crazy.
Rick's arc revolves around shifting from a lone adventurer to a protective father. This adds an emotional layer to the story, as the action is no longer just about defeating supernatural threats, but about protecting his loved ones, particularly Alex.
It's not easy being a dad.
You do it real good.
Thanks.
Evelyn also experiences significant growth.
Whoa, Mom! When did you learn to do that? I have no idea.
In the first movie, she's a bookish, sheltered librarian who discovers the thrill of adventure. By the time of The Mummy Returns, she's more confident, sharing the action equally with Rick.
Why don't you pick on somebody your own size?
But Evelyn's growth isn't just about physical adventure. She also faces the weight of mythical powers, the connection to her past life. Woo! Her arc revolves reconciling her intelligent, scholarly side with the more dangerous, mystical world they now inhabit. The addition of their son Alex brings new dynamics to the O'Connell family.
We taught him well. He's smarter than you. He's tougher than me.
Alex is a clever, curious child who becomes key to the movie's central conflict. His journey from innocence to someone who plays a vital role in the family's survival heightens the emotional stakes, showing how the family's growth is mirrored in Alex's own development. So clever.
We did it, Uncle John! We did it!
Right, partner, now let's go help your dad.
The sequel must balance familiarity with innovation, honouring the world of the first movie without feeling like a rehash. Hot tip! Establish key elements that are integral to the world, characters, theme, tone, and build on them, not repeat them. Subtle callbacks to the first movie can work if they serve the story, rather than merely nostalgia. But make sure these references aren't crutches. The sequel needs its own identity. You can do it, I know you can! So based on these two sequels, let's mash. Side note, I am mashing last month's mash. Remember the love interest Luna Callahan, the treasure hunter? She was part inspired by Fiona from Shrek and Evelyn from The Mummy. And remember the protagonist, Peggy? So, in the 8 years from the first movie, Peggy has settled in her role as a mother to their 8-year-old daughter, Natalie, and as a partner to Luna. While she loves her family, Peggy has begun to feel that she's lost a part of herself in her transition from treasure hunter to mother. This shift makes her long for the excitement of the past, yet she struggles with the guilt of wanting to return to that life when she feels the pull of motherhood. Peggy's parents are a part of this sequel, setting the story in motion. Her father, a former treasure hunter turned archaeologist, is now hiding because of a dangerous group seeking an ancient artifact he knows about. Now Peggy is determined to find this artifact first, and off she goes. When the treasure hunt becomes too dangerous, Peggy is forced to make a choice. Does she continue this adventure for the sake of protecting her parents, or does she give it all up to preserve her new family's safety, even if that means she'll no longer be in the picture? Don't understand this? Don't worry, keep watching, you will. At the climax, Peggy embraces her true identity. She discovers that she doesn't have to choose between the roles she plays: treasure hunter, partner, mother, daughter, but instead learns to integrate them all. What about Luna's emotional growth? Luna has come a long way since the original story, yet she's still the more emotionally guarded of the two. As Peggy pulls them both back into the world of treasure hunting, this puts pressure on their relationship. Luna finds herself torn between supporting her partner's passion and feeling threatened by the return of their old selves, and the danger it brings to their daughter's life. She also struggles with the fear of losing Peggy. However, she must learn to reconcile this fear and also understand her own role in not controlling Peggy's choices. In the end, Luna realizes true love and partnership aren't about control, but about mutual respect for each other's autonomy. What about Natalie's emotional growth? You know, the 8-year-old daughter? Natalie is naturally curious, smart, and eager to explore. She idolizes both of her parents, but her relationship with them is complicated. While Peggy encourages Natalie's curiosity and independence, Luna's overprotectiveness has created some tension. As the artifact hunt escalates, Natalie gets more involved, perhaps deciphering a clue that brings the family closer closer to their goal. However, this involvement exposes her to danger, and Peggy and Luna's conflicting approaches to parenting create a struggle for Natalie. This pushes Natalie's development, and she begins to assert her own sense of agency. She chooses to trust her parents' guidance and uses her own ingenuity to help them escape a dangerous situation. This showcases her growth. Not only does she become an active participant in the adventure, but she also comes to understand the responsibility of being part of a family. Aww. I want to watch this movie now. I know it's in my head and I can watch it there, but I want to watch it on the big screen. What other story elements need to be considered when writing a sequel or a pretend sequel? For a sequel to work, repeating the formulas from the first movie won't be enough. Sequels must introduce new conflicts and higher stakes. In Shrek 2, the stakes are raised with the introduction of new antagonists, Prince Charming and the Fairy Godmother.
Stop the car! Harold, you force me to do something I really don't want to do.
Where are we?
Well, hi there. Welcome to Friar's Fat Boy. May I take your order?
Prince Charming's goal is to win Fiona's love, or to steal Fiona's love. And the Fairy Godmother will stop at nothing to help him, even attempting to remove Shrek from the picture. Eee.
I love her.
If you really love her, you'll let her go.
This emotional conflict is a new challenge for Shrek, whose insecurities about his appearance and royal status are amplified. Unlike the first movie, where Shrek had to fight for his swamp, Shrek 2 centers on the more intimate, internal struggle of Shrek questioning his worthiness in Fiona's world. The introduction of the happily ever after potion also raises the stakes. When Shrek drinks the potion and transforms into a human, he's forced to confront not only his insecurities, but also his identity in a tangible way. Genius! In The Mummy Returns, the stakes are raised significantly by the introduction of a new, even more dangerous supernatural element, the Scorpion King. This creates a dangerous race between Rick and Imhotep, the villain from the first movie, to be the one to control the Scorpion King and his undead army. In the first movie, Imhotep was primarily motivated to be reunited with his love. In the sequel, he's more power hungry, making the stakes feel even more dire.
Wait,
I must let the commanders know where we are.
you can't go.
If the army of Anubis arises...
I need you to help me find my son.
Then first I shall help you.
Thank you.
The personal stakes are also raised in The Mummy Returns. The O'Connell family is at the center of the conflict, with their son Alex in danger. Rick and Evelyn are no longer just fighting for their lives, they are fighting to protect their family.
That's my husband and my son down there. Make me proud.
Today's that day, Evie.
This family-centric emotional core makes the stakes feel more urgent and relatable.
Please.
Sequels often try to raise the stakes to keep things exciting, but this can lead to overwhelming the audience or making the new stakes feel artificial. So you guessed it, hot tip. While the stakes should be bigger or more complex than the first movie, they should come from deeper emotional or thematic places. Ask yourself, what emotional stakes are at risk this time? Are the characters facing consequences that matter more than before? Yes? No? Yes? No? So based off these two sequels, let's smash. The stakes are raised by the return of an old enemy from Peggy's past. A rival treasure hunter who used to be a family friend. So what? This rival, motivated by revenge on Peggy's parents, seeks the lost artifact, which, legend has, can give the person who wields it the power to alter someone's history. Peggy fears the rival might erase her parents' past, meaning she would never be born. Remember, Peggy is forced to make a choice. Does she continue the adventure for the sake of protecting her parents from being erased, or does she give it up to preserve her new family's safety by perhaps finding another artifact to ensure Natalie is born even when Peggy is not? This intensifies the stakes from the first movie. The family's safety is on the line, and Peggy's decision about how to handle her adventurous past are now just not about her, but about protecting the ones she loves. The ones she loves. Ones is in multiple. This family-centric emotional core makes the stakes feel more urgent and relatable. What other story elements need to be considered when writing a sequel? A sequel has the opportunity to deepen and expand the world established in the first movie. While it is important to stay consistent with the original's world building, a sequel should also introduce new elements that enhance the narrative. Yes, please! The world of fairy tales is expanded by introducing new characters, including Fiona's royal family, Prince Charming, Fairy Godmother, and Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots. These new characters add complexity to the story, showing the world of Shrek is bigger than just the swamp. We are enveloped in the fairy tale universe, with rules about magic and transformations becoming central to the plot. The Happily Ever After potion, for instance, expands the magical system, offering both comedic and thematic layers to the story.
Look out, princess. Here comes the new me.
One of the movie's key expansions is the setting of the kingdom of Far, Far Away.
Wow.
This royal world contrasts with Shrek's swamp, adding depth and contrast to the environment. The humour remains intact though, with the movie continuing its tradition of satirising fairy tale tropes and pop culture. This expansion of the world makes Shrek 2 feel fresh and vibrant, while still honouring the original's tone. In The Mummy Returns, the world building is expanded through a deeper exploration of ancient Egyptian mythology. The introduction of the Scorpion King, his connection to Anubis, and the mystical powers surrounding him add new layers to the supernatural universe of the Mummy movies. This is why it doesn't feel stale that they are repeating the same villain, Imhotep. The settings in The Mummy Returns are also expanded, with action taking place across multiple locations. The desert landscapes of Egypt are familiar, but the jungle temple scenes introduce a fresh setting, offering a visually contrasting backdrop to the first movie's tombs and ruins. This shift in location broadens the scope of the adventure and keeps the visual experience dynamic and engaging. More importantly, we get to see the O'Connell city and home, which really emphasizes the story's family-centric emotional core, don't you think?
That's why I love you.
Nice try.
The sequel must maintain the immersive world of the original, but also expand it in a way that makes the narrative feel deeper or more complex. Hot tip: use the sequel to explore new aspects that weren't fully explored in the first movie. Duh! If the original was set in one location, perhaps the sequel takes us to a new environment. Or if the original introduced a high concept idea, like a fantastical or futuristic setting, the sequel can dive deeper into its mechanics, consequences, or cultural implications. So based on these two sequels, let's smash. I want to see more ancient texts, ruins, and supernatural elements woven into the story. And of course, ancient traps and near-death experiences. However, in the sequel, we spend time in new locations, delving into the themes of family, such as Peggy's current home with Luna and Natalie, and also her childhood home where her parents reside. These locations showcase how and why this family became involved in treasure hunting, and can help shed light on why the rival has a vendetta against them, perhaps. Hot tip. Hot tip! aim to make the sequel engaging to both new audiences and those familiar with the original. This doesn't mean repeating exposition, but rather crafting the story in a new way that new viewers can pick up on the essentials without feeling lost, while giving fans of the first movie deeper rewards. A sequel that stands on its own merits without relying too much on the first makes it a more timeless story. Until the next MASH, bye! Mr. Cellophane, walk right by me and never know I'm there. Never even know I'm there. Oh, I made myself all hot in the face.